Uh, okay. Y'all ready? I know I am. I am. Let's go. Friday. Friday night. Friday, we made it, baby. Long week, short week, however it goes. We are here on the last day before the weekend. The freaking weekend. And this is the Daily Go Get Mism Show. I'm your host, Sun752, and we are talking about the time to call it down the middle and the time to call it the right way. The time to call it down the middle and the time to call it the right way. Sometimes it's not the time to be fair. Sometimes it's not the time to be fair. I know that we feel like we should always call everything down the middle and we should always keep it 100, as they say, and we should always be non-biased. We should never take sides. We should never harp on favorites and things like that. But is it real? I think that it's easier to be fair when you don't know somebody. It's easier to be fair when you don't know a lot about a situation. And even when you are fair, just because you don't know a lot about a person or the parties involved or the situation that happened, it doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't taken a side in that instance. Also, I don't think that we have the human mental capacity to be 100% non-biased, 100% non-favoritist. I don't think we have what it takes to not have something appeal to the way that we feel or the way that we think, even if we have to use certain criteria in order to make our decisions and judgments, which is such in the case of the court of law. In the court of law, there are supposed to be certain elements of truth and of evidence that are presented that is supposed to make a judge or a jury make an informed decision on people's freedom or their financial situation. Does it always work out the right way in court? No. You know why? You know why? Because we, or the jury or the judge, makes their decisions based on often what they know to be true, just, real, factual, and right. What's right? So a lot of times what's fair is not what's right. And that's why sometimes you have to call things in the right way instead of in the fair way. Like, we're going to get to the fairness later on. Like, something can be unbalanced and it can still be fair. uh, 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 uh. Something can be unbalanced and still be fair. Uh, uh, uh. Something can be unbalanced and still be fair. And we gonna give some examples. We gonna see how this could be, and we gonna make sure that we rock's gonna be okay. We gonna do it nonstop. I am down with you, you down with me. Now I'm glad that we flowing, and I'm glad that you'll see that we can learn a little something from each other. I be on y'all like sisters and brothers, but I know that the time will come when we have to have the face looking dumb, and the time may come where we get surprised and you can see the look in your eyes. I am going to call it down the middle for the show, but wait a minute, hold on, yo. The time to call it down the middle and the time to call it the right way. I got a couple examples for y'all that I want to see might be of particular interest. Remember the OJ trial, 1994? It ended in 1995. It was a lengthy trial. OJ Simpson sat in jail for a little over a year, I believe. Let's see. His case was decided on October 2nd, 1995. But he had been sitting in jail in the county since 1994, protective custody and all that kind of stuff. OJ wasn't out there in population. But the reason that I brought up the OJ trial is because the OJ trial, which was considered the trial of the century in the 1900s, was an unprecedented trial because normally in cases where a black man had been convicted of a crime of murder, especially a double murder, and a crime of gruesome proportions, the way that crime was committed. Normally, it would be an open and shut case. They would normally collect or select the jurors, and they would normally be an all white jury. And basically, OJ would be sent down the river, in this case, upstate, San Quentin, more than likely, where it was going to get dark for him, and probably, I believe California still has the death penalty, and there was a good chance that OJ would have suffered that, even though, okay, well, look, but in an unexpected turn of events, the jury that was selected was a predominantly black jury, and they saw the details of the case a lot differently than their white counterparts may have seen it, had they had a chance to have been on that jury. So you have a black man that was accused and was standing trial for a double murder, and you had a Asian judge, Judge Ito. I can't remember his first name, but I remember his last name was Ito, and he was an Oriental Asian looking man. And then you had the prosecutors. You had Marsha, what's her name, and the black guy, MC Sellout. And I have to call him MC Sellout because that boy, when OJ was found not guilty of all charges, that man cried. He cried. Turns out that he was having an affair with the Marsha chick, the co-prosecutor. They was having relations. What was his name? What was his name? I don't remember his name, but I remember him. Wait. I don't even remember Marsha's last name, but I think that OJ received a fair trial for a change. And I also think that he was found not guilty because it was right. They didn't have the evidence to convict him. I think that had there been more Caucasians on that jury, I think they would have found a way to find him guilty. I do believe it, regardless of the evidence, because what they thought was the right way would have been different than what those black jurors thought was the right way. There were some differences in what was right and what was wrong. Huh? Huh? So, so we have that example. Now, I'd like to ask y'all for a minute, since we're all old enough to remember that trial. How did you see the OJ trial? Did you feel like he received a fair trial? Do you think that he received a fair verdict? Was the verdict the right verdict? Did OJ get off, or was OJ not guilty? Or was he both? Which one was he? Which one was OJ? That was a long time ago, but we gonna talk about it today. Not a long time, but when we talk about crime, we talk about people who snitch and drop dimes. All right, so we have that case. So if you fast forward to I believe 2000, when did OJ get convicted? All right, in Las Vegas, somebody tried to steal some Hall of Fame or Heisman Trophy stuff from OJ Simpson. So him and his boys went to go see the person, and they beat him up. Well. In Las Vegas, OJ Simpson was convicted of assault and battery, I believe. And I don't think that anybody that was with him was convicted of anything. Now, in this case, there was not an all-black jury. This time it was different. And OJ got a pretty stiff sentence. He got a pretty stiff sentence where a lot of people didn't think that he should have been sentenced as harshly, and they didn't think that he got such a fair trial. But I think there was a little bit of get back in the sentencing because that the judge had a lot to say. Let me see if I can pull up what the judge had to say in that trial because she says something unprecedented that lets you know, like, we might not have got you for that murder, but we gonna get you for this. You going down, boy. You going down, boy. You going down. OJ Simpson. Um. Okay. Oh yeah, 2008. Okay. So a criminal conviction in 2008. Simpson was found guilty in the botched robbery and sentenced to up to 33 years in prison. Up to 33 years in prison. This man could have been. So that means even though he's out now, he could have still been locked up. And that means he's still on parole now. All right. He was sentenced to up to 33 years in prison. OJ Simpson stands in court with Yale Gallanter during sentencing at the Clark County Regional Justice Center, December 5th, 2008, Las Vegas. I want to see. I want to hear what. I want to get to the part where the judge. Okay. Okay. He was convicted of armed robbery and kidnapping. He went to go get his stuff back. All right. Before Judge Jackie has handed down her decision, the 61-year-old fallen football star, clad in blue prison jumpsuit, shackles, and handcuffs, apologized to her in Las Vegas court after learning he won't be able to be freed on bail if he appeals. I stand before you today, sorry. Okay. He said, but the judge emphasized that it was a violent confrontation in which at least one gun was drawn, and she said someone could have been killed. She said the case was unusual because the planning, the confrontation itself, and the aftermath were all recorded on audio or videotape. Okay, this is what she said. Uh, she said the evidence in this case was over a very violent event. The judge said several times that her sentence in the Las Vegas case had nothing to do with Simpson's 1994 acquittal in the slaying of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ron Goldman. I'm not here to try and cause any retribution or payback for anything else. Mm. She says something else, though. I remember this. Hmm. Okay. All right. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that. My brother from another mother, Norris Hill, sit back, relax, do your thing, Max, and chill. And Stacey White, thanks for coming through tonight. I hope everything is going good and all right. And T Carry right, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. What's going on, y'all? All right. So OJ they may have called it the right way the first time, but I think on the second time it was a different kind of right. Neither one of them, I don't know if they called it down the middle, way down the middle, except maybe in the first trial. Anyway, there just wasn't enough evidence to convict the man in 1994, and evidently there was more than enough evidence to convict him in 2008. But you can see the difference. You can see the difference in the way that the case was handled. So maybe the right way was done the first time, and the get back right way was done the second time. Because I know a lot of people who really believe that he should have been convicted in the first trial, the 1994 trial, think that he at least got some of his just desserts in the 1995 trial. Now, you may be in a situation where you've had to make those types of decisions too. Like I said, I think it's easier to call things down the middle when you have no dog in the fight, or when you don't know the parties that are involved, or you don't really care, or you're being paid to gather certain criteria that has to be met in order for you to make a decision. It's probably easier to be fair in those situations. When you know somebody, when you're emotionally invested, when you have extensive knowledge of the history of a certain thing, it may change your view of what's right and what's wrong, and you may call it that way, even if you don't admit it outright. In your mind, you know, like, how many times have you been in a situation where you made a decision and people was like, yo, how could you say that? How could you do that? How could you make that decision? You like, I'm telling you, y'all don't know. Y'all don't know about all the times when such and such did. Y'all not familiar back in the day when I know him, I know his people, I know what they do, and you don't understand, but I understand you, and I understand what I must do. So I did what I had to do, and I'm no boo-hoo. There won't be no crying. I wasn't lying. I did what I had to do, and believe me, I was trying to be as fair as I could be, but I had to be fair in a different way. We have to understand that I know a lot about the history of the man, and he ain't never did the right thing in his life. And that's why I had to make sure that it wasn't right again. Yo, when I get a chance to make a decision again, I'm gonna call it right down the middle, as I see it, as I know it, as I feel it. You know, and it'd be like that sometimes. It'd be like that sometimes. You know, if you were the coach, if you were a coach on a sports team, I don't know, baseball, I don't know, football, I don't know, basketball, and you had a son or daughter that was on the team, maybe their skills weren't as good as the other members on the team. Are you gonna let your little prince or your little princess ride the bench the whole season? Is anybody going to get mad because you gave your little prince or your princess a little bit of playing time, especially if they're not in a position to jeopardize the game or the season? I ain't gonna lie. I ain't saying that you should make your child a starter and the star. You shouldn't be biased that way. But to not give them any playing time, that would actually be demoralizing. And if another child made the team, and they had a way to go in order to get their skills up to par in order to be able to start, you would probably still let them in the game, especially if the game was out of reach. Like y'all were either losing by so much it didn't matter who you put in the game, or y'all were winning by so much that it didn't matter who y'all put in the game. Y'all were still going to win the game. There's nothing wrong with calling it down the middle in that way. That's still fair. You can't say like, well, you didn't get your dribble right, or you don't follow through with your shot, so I can't justify putting you in the game. Like, Dad, I still make shots. All right, the shot went in, but you criticizing the form. Well, yeah, well, yeah, I'm sorry, son. You got to get your form right. Look at Sean over there. Sean, show him the form. Like water all day, coach. Your son or your daughter's like, Dad, my shots still go in. You want to criticize the form? You know the only reason you're on this team because I'm your daddy. That ain't right. That ain't right. So, of course, you're going to put your child in the game. You're going to get them involved because you know that that will help their confidence, and you know that that will help strengthen the bond that y'all have. You don't want to put your kids in a position where you feel where they feel like you choose other people over them. That ain't cool. That ain't fair either, and it ain't right. So, in those at those times, even though all of the other team members, all of the other parents are looking like, yeah, we know he's gonna put his son in the game at some point, or we know that his son only made the team because of blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, y'all might be right, but that doesn't make it wrong. He created an extra spot for his child on the team. He's the 11th member. He's the 11th teammate. Ain't hurt nobody. Ain't hurt nobody. So, yeah. Calling it down the middle versus calling it the right way. Making sure that you instill confidence in your children, in your loved ones, in your team members is right. Is right. Same thing. Uh, you know, look at Super Bowl 57. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, you listen, I was very conflicted over this game. I was very conflicted over the outcome of this game because I don't think that game should have been decided on that holding call that was called in the last minute of the game. I don't agree with that. As it was actually during the 2-minute warning. Within the 2 minutes, it was a minute and something left, more than enough time for the Eagles to get the ball back and run and drive down the field and score a touchdown and win. Green and silver confetti. But it didn't happen. And you have to wonder if the referees called that game down the middle. Now, I was thinking that just because I'm an Eagles fan, maybe I looked at it biasly, and I do. I do. If we don't get some, if we do something wrong on the field, and the judge don't, I mean, and the referee don't call it, I'm not. This is probably for all the times when they got the calls wrong. But I look at a lot of the videos after the Super Bowl, and a lot of people agree that that was the wrong call at the wrong time. That was the wrong call at the wrong time. Now, of course, all of the people who don't like the Eagles or really hate the Eagles, they're going to say no, it was the right call. Even the defender said that he held. The defender may have said he held, but did it affect the play? And it didn't. And even commentators that really never give the Eagles a fair shot. Commentators that normally have an axe to grind against the Philadelphia Eagles, like Michael Irvin, like Chris Collinsworth. People like that were like, nah, man, that wasn't the right call. Not at that time. That game should not have been decided by that call. The wrong call at the wrong time. That game, because the game was so exciting. It was going so well that people got caught up in the game. Like, damn, man, I don't like the Eagles, but look at this. Jalen Hurts is going crazy out there. So for the game to get slowed down at the end with kneeling down and all of that, people wasn't feeling that. So did the referees call it down the middle? Because the Eagles defender, he said he had been doing it all day, but they never called it all day. They waited until that time to call it. So you can look at it a couple of ways. You can look at it like, well, his time had come. If he admits that he had been doing it the whole game and they only called it at this time, then maybe it was the right time. Mia Cunningham, got that. What's going on, Mia? Good to see you. Yeah. So calling that down the middle or calling it the right way. Nobody can take away the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs won. You can't take that away from them. Oh, believe me, I would love to take it away from them, but I can't. I can't. We can't. We didn't get another Super Bowl ring. We didn't get a parade. Didn't happen for us. Didn't happen. But I don't think that was called down the middle, especially when it was a late flag and Patrick Mahomes almost made the referee throw it. Like, and then he was like, all right, threw the flag. Like, come on, man. Everybody else, I don't know what it looked like in the stadium, but everybody was waiting for the kicking team to come on the field, kick the field goal, so the Eagles could get the ball back. That's what everybody was waiting for. All of a sudden, this flag drops. The play was over. They blew the whistle. Well, that's the way the ball bounces sometimes. Sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you. But when we talk about calling it down the middle versus calling it the right way. Well, sometimes when you call it down the middle, it might not seem fair if you know that it has been unfair all before this time. Now y'all want it to be fair. When we have the disadvantage, when we have the advantage, y'all want to call it fair. When we have the disadvantage, then y'all want to call it how y'all been calling it. I guess you could say y'all been calling it unfairly. You could say you've been calling it biased. You can say you've been calling it unbalanced. It's way easier to be fair when your heart ain't in it, when your love ain't in it, where the people you care about ain't in it. How many of y'all know about the war going on in Ukraine? Because a lot of people may not know. They may not have a dog in that fight. All they know is that Russia is fighting against Ukraine and the United States is helping out. That's all they know. That's all a lot of people know. Now, of course, when it comes to war, there's always money involved. For Russia, there's territory that they want to claim back like they had when it was the USSR. They want it back because that territory means money for them. It means resources for them. It means military positions and strategies for them. Of course. Money. All wars are fought over money. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. When you don't know about the reason that wars are fought, you think that it's fought because of some types of feelings, like World War II. A lot of people think that the United States entered World War II because of Pearl Harbor or because the Jews were being killed by the Nazis. That's not why it happened. Franklin Delano Roosevelt had been trying to enter World War II for years. He was looking for a way to get in because he wanted to get some of that money. It was money involved, and it was money involved. And if you don't believe that there was money involved, you have to remember that after the war was fought, after the war was won by the United States, they were able to secure military positions in half of Germany. Remember, the wall used to be up in Germany. So one half was communist and the other half was democratic. One half, the United States, was an ally, and the other half wasn't even an alliance. It was straight USSR. Money. Money. Plus, Germany had to pay the United States restitution for the war crimes that the Nazis had committed. So they all got money. Plus, the weapons that the United States sold to Germany. George Bush, senior George Bush, Grandpa Bush, not George H.W. Bush, his dad. What was his name? Dick Bush. Prescott Bush. His name was Prescott. Prescott Bush made war materials. No, I'm sorry. He was a banker or something like that. But he lent money to the Nazis. How you going to lend money and materials to the enemy that you're fighting against? Prescott. You wrong, boy. So I'm saying all this to say this. World War II, Vietnam, the conflict in Beirut, anywhere you slice it, you're going to find financial interest, which is going to make it hard to be fair. It's going to be hard to be fair. So when we're talking about Ukraine and Russia, many of us here are just satisfied as that as long as the war doesn't reach these shores, I don't see what we have to do with it. Other people may look at it like this: Ukrainian Americans, which there are a lot of in not Philadelphia, but yeah, in Philadelphia, but I mean in the United States, and also Russian immigrants that are in the United States, they feel differently about that conflict. The Ukrainians feel like the Russians have been pushing them around and doing them dirty for almost a century now. Yeah. Or was it a whole century? Close. It's close. It's close. Close. More than 70 years. So they feel differently. They feel differently about that conflict. So they're not going to see it in such a fair way. They look at it like, yo, them Russians got to go. They got to go. And the Russians are looking at it like, look, when we were the USSR, we had territory over there that should have never been relinquished after we tore down the wall. So we need our territory back. Where's calling it down the middle in that situation? Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, TK Right says, is it lagging for anyone else? Okay. I ain't know we was lagging. Mia said, why must you bring up such painful memories when it comes to Super Bowl 57? Yeah, I know. Listen, nobody feels your pain as much as I feel your pain. But I deal with my pain by confronting it, just like I deal with my fears. I have to confront it. I gotta look it in the eye, like, all right, man. All right, man. You know. So, but we through with all that. We good. We through. We through with all that. We through with it all. But it's gonna be all right. Bottom line is, it might not be so easy to call everything down the middle. Sometimes when you have more information, let's take a more personal situation. Have you ever been close to a couple that was getting divorced? Of course you have. Of course you have. Maybe the person in the divorce proceedings was your family member. It's your brother or your sister, cousin, somebody. You know. So, but you might be good friends with the bride and the groom. So when it's time for them to get divorced, if the marriage doesn't go well, when it's time for them to get divorced, maybe you could get like Switzerland on them. You could get like Switzerland on them. Like, all right, well, that's a situation dealing with a man and his wife and all of that. I'm not going to take no sides. You might be able to do that, but it might be a little harder for you when you know some details that may not have even come out. You know, you ever know of a situation where the cheater got their heart broken? Yeah, like the cheater. You know how they say cheaters never win? Well, we know that cheaters do win sometimes. But let's look at a situation where, let's say it was a long-term relationship or marriage, whatever. Maybe it was a long-term relationship that ended in a marriage, and now is getting into divorce proceedings. Okay, so if you were good friends with one of the, well, either the bride or the groom, you might know certain things that they did during their marriage that may make you judge the divorce or the divorce proceedings in a different way. Like where it might look like, I can't believe that such and such is leaving such and such for another person, or they just left them high and dry, or they just turned their back on them, or they just blah, 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 blah. To everybody who doesn't know the details of their marriage, they might look at it that way, like, yeah, they went with each other. They was together for 10 years. Now they've been married for 8 years. And now 18 years of being together, all for her to drop him like that, or all for him to drop her like that. That's what everybody who doesn't know the details of their marriage might say. You, you, you might say, well, he a good dude, or she's a good woman, but she wasn't always a good woman. He wasn't always a good dude. And you might want to leave it that way. You know. But some things that happen. So maybe somebody used to maybe somebody used to be a cheater, and you know it. Maybe you covered for them. Maybe you helped them out. Maybe you were their wingman. Maybe they just shared it with you and you shut your mouth. You kept your mouth shut. It wasn't really none of your business, even though that was your friend or your people's, and they made it your business. So you kept that secret for them. So now maybe they got their shit together and they stopped cheating. So you don't know if them cheating or being with anybody else for the last, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years or whatever. Now, after they finally have settled into their marriage and stopped running around and being sneaky and acting like they wasn't married. Now the person that they married to is ready to do their own thing. They ready to move on. And they ain't giving out no big explanations about why. Now everybody's looking at it like, dang, man, I can't believe she doing him like that. Or damn, man, I can't believe he doing her like that. But you like, Well, believe me, he was doing her like this before they got married and in the beginning of when they got married. So, this might be just karma rearing his ugly head, or it might be chickens coming home to roost or whatever. Just know that whatever the right now guilty party looks like they're doing is really only a get back for what was done to them, even though they might not have known what it was. The right thing versus calling down the middle. The right way versus calling down the middle. Right way versus calling down the middle. Right way versus calling down the middle. Right way, calling it down the middle. Yeah, I said the right way versus calling it down to the middle. Yeah. There's a right way and there's a wrong way to love somebody. Yo, Keith Sweat said, but you know the details of something till you said something else. Yeah, that's dead. That's word. You can't get away with what you are doing forever. And sometimes it comes back on you in a worse way, but it feels kind of better to the other person that was suffering before. Now it's time for you to get yours. Yo, get yours. All right, y'all, let's get it popping. Emily Dunlap in the house. I said it, Emily. What's going on? My brother from another mother, Norris Hill. All right. TK Wright says, yikes. Yes, I have. When my sister was divorcing. Okay. He says it was tricky at first because her husband was nice, or so I thought. Ring! Why did I feel like this should be that suspense type of ring? Like Metal Gear Solid. I don't know if any of y'all, have ever played the game Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation. Ring! Okay. But yeah, when you know details that other people don't know, you see it differently than other people see it, and people may be mad at you for the opinions that you express or your failure to express your opinions. But you like, there's a right and a wrong way to jerk somebody. Yeah. It ain't always your place or your time to tell the truth. It might not be your time. It might be your time to mind your business. That ain't got nothing to do with you. You mind your old business. Shut up, fool. Fall back, youngin. Fall back. All right. Narcil says, my relatives came first in separation and divorce. Okay. I can dig that. And TK Wright says, always, Norris, the interactions with him were tricky because I know that my sister may be feisty, but she isn't a liar. So I knew there had to be more to it. Okay. Right? Yeah. Yeah, when you know more details than other people know about a situation, hopefully you don't get called to make the decision. Or maybe sometimes it's best for you to make the decision because you can make the right decision. Have you ever made the right decision but still felt wrong about it? Have you ever wished that you didn't know something that you knew and you had to be the one to make the decision? And you wish, like, I wish it wasn't on me to make this decision, because both people know that you knew more than the other people knew. So they looking at you to see which decision that you're going to make, or which one you're going to go with, which side you're going to take. So even if you try to call it down the middle, it's not going to seem like you called it down the middle with them, because you know what really happened, T. Carey, right? You know what happened. You know what she did to me. You know what I did to her. You know the events that occurred. Why you acting like it's all a blur? Why you acting like you don't remember? Why you choosing her? Why you choosing him? Yo, what's going on? You drinking this milk? You spilled the milk and it ain't skim. I am going to tell you, you gotta do the right thing. You don't seem like you chose right, queen. But you had to make a decision. Now the decision is over. It's over like Rover. You had to do what you had to do. They made you the judge, and you had to budge. You had to move, and you did what you had to do. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Anyway, yeah. Calling it down the middle versus calling it the right way. Man, it ain't easy to be fair all the time. You know somebody been lying. Like, listen, for my people who have multiple children, you know, you're supposed to love your children equally. You're supposed to be fair when it comes to them. But when you know, sometimes your kids fight. You know what I mean? You ever have to break up a fight between your kids? You ever let them fight for a minute to see which one really had the fight in them? All right, man. Okay, no, you ain't supposed to do that. You're supposed to break it up immediately, right? I know. Well, you know, in those situations where you've seen your kids fight, or you've seen the older kids or the bigger kids pick on the smaller kids or the younger kids, right? You know, they've toughened them up. They've basically hazed them. They've hazed them. You know, there's a lot of family hazing going on. Boom. Why you punch me in the chest? You know I got asthma. you ever see a little boy fake an asthma attack? It's a thing of beauty. You punch me in my chest. Oh my God, why you punch that boy in his chest? I'm gonna whoop your ass as soon as I give him this inhaler. Oh my God, you okay, baby? You okay? Boy ain't having no damn asthma attack. Not that time. Have you ever seen a little boy fake an asthma attack after getting his chest open? Boom! I seen it. I seen it. Anyway, so when you know that your kids been hazing each other, you seen it. You know what I mean? Rite of passage. You know what I mean? The big brother always picking on the little sister or the little brother and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? You witnessed it. And you may have also witnessed the comeback or the come up or the progression. So the one that was getting picked on, one of his cousins or his father, because they might not all have the same father. His father or one of his cousins on his dad's side, you know how, all your kids don't have the same cousins. Ain't it funny how your kids might not even have the same brothers and sisters? Wait. No, they might not. Okay. Yeah, they might not. Because, like, if you have kids by somebody and then they have kids by somebody, and whoever they had kids by somebody else, they had kids by somebody else. So that somebody else that they had kids by is your child's brother's brother or sister, but they're not your child's brother. Y'all understand what I'm saying? But the whole cousins thing, like, I used to tease Dita and Shell all the time. Like, we don't have the same cousins. I got different cousins that y'all had. They like, well, how the hell? We got the same mom and dad. How you got different cousins? Because I claim different cousins. I claim some cousins of my cousins. See, some cousins of my cousins ain't my cousin, but they my cousins. They ain't your cousins because you don't even know them. Like I got cousins in New York right now. Dita and Shell, they not cousins with them. They my cousins. Mm-hmm. They mine. So, but anyway, so one of your cousins might have taught your son or your daughter how to hold their hands. You know what I mean? They might have taught them how to bob and weave. Like when you see the punch coming, dip. Then you come back, boom. A inexperienced fighter ain't gonna know how to deal with that. And guess who that inexperienced fighter was? Your son or your daughter. So you saw the little one mollywop the big one on some old Floyd Mayweather shit. Bow! You had to break that fight up. Whoa, 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 whoa. 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 Lil Tim ain't gonna be breaking no jaws around here. All right, Timmy. Your cousin taught you how to hold your hands. Now you gotta teach your brother how to hold his hands. Y'all gotta be a team. We ain't gonna have this unbalanced. But you know, you done seen it. You done seen the little ones that was getting picked on. Now they ready for the world. So Lil Tim, now he the big boss. He get to be the bulldog, the muscular bulldog in the fight. Whereas the bigger kids, they can't beat Lil Tim no more. Lil Tim is resting easy. He confident. Now he got mad swag. My big brothers can't beat me, but more than anything else, they can't pick on me no more. I got peace. I got peace with my hands. I got peace with my hands. And I'm telling you, it can never be wrong. Bing! Because you mess with me too long. Bing! And I gave you a one to your chest. Bing! Yo, stop breathing like that. You's a mess. You know I got asthma, Timmy. Sound like the old horn from the 30s. Oh hell, oh hell, oh hell. Oh hell, oh hell, oh hell. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, it's the daily go get a mism show. So yeah, calling it down the middle versus calling it the right way. You want to be fair with your kids, but you know that some of your kids was wrong. You know that they was wrong. So at certain times when you know that the history had treated some people unfairly, you could just kind of let it play out. Like, all right. When your brother kick your ass, don't be coming around me. Don't come crying to me. I told you, he told you leave his ass alone. And I told you too. So he might whoop your ass and then I might whoop your ass too. We got different cousins, y'all. We ain't got the same cousins. We ain't got the same cousins. My cousins is differenter. It's differenter than theirs. But it's all good. Love is love. So yeah, man. Hey, you know, we witness a whole lot of things in our lives. You know, we try to they always, I mean, people always promote us and tell us and encourage us to be fair. Keep it 100. Keep it $1. Keep it a stack. Okay. I can easily do that when I don't know y'all. Other than that, I'm gonna try to make sure my team wins. For example, I'm Philly all day. Team Philly all day. PHILA all day. We don't always win though, but still that's my squad. So it's not always easy for me to be unbiased. But I ain't like y'all. I'm not looking to be 100% fair all the time. I'm the kind of nigga that just want what I want. I ain't got a whole lot of time to be ashamed of how I feel or what I do. I'll let y'all do that. Y'all gonna be ashamed of how I feel and what I do. Just playing around with y'all. Yo, man. Before we do these birthday shout outs, before we go any further, I want to tell y'all, I want y'all to have a really safe weekend this weekend. Whether the days are a little bit longer, even without the daylight savings time, the days are getting a little bit longer, and the weather is a little bit warmer, whatever. But people outside, we're moving farther and farther away from the restrictions that we had gotten used to in 2020 and 2021 and part of 2022 with the COVID restrictions and stuff like that. So people are feeling more comfortable being out. But if your city is anything like mine, there's a whole lot of crime going on in the city, violent crime going on in the city, and even though a lot of the people who become victims in those violent crimes were wrapped up in a whole lot of shit, it doesn't take away from the fact that it could be anybody. Bullets don't have no names, but it's worse when the bullets do have names. Bullets don't have no names, but it's worse when the bullets do have names, because sometimes the bullets that have the names on them don't get assessed to the right person. It's like, yo, this is not my name on this name tag. Yeah, I know it might not be your name on the name tag, but it still gets you in. Hopefully the place that it gets you in ain't the kingdom of heaven. Not right now. Don't go home. Make it home. Make it home, but don't go home. Make it home, but don't go home. Let's do these birthday shout outs. Shall we? Let's do these birthday. Come on, let's do it. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious March 24th. Pardon me. March 24th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special, because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Tanya Grant. Happy birthday to you. Turning 56 years old today. And Horatio Johnson, happy birthday to you. And Stacy Harris, happy birthday to you, Stacy. And Maciel Garces, happy birthday to you. And Felicia Joyner, turning 56 years old today. And Kayena Kana, turning 35 years old today. And Sharon Yvonne Little Jackson, happy birthday to you. And Rosita Rosado. She used to be my next door neighbor, Rosita Rosado, turning 60 years old today. Happy birthday to you. And my man, Roy Butch DJ Be Nice Smith, turning 60 years old today. Look at you. Last but not least, going all the way back to the 1991, my man, Brian Dozier. hailing from Chester, PA, turning 53 years old today. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious March 24th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on it, do the damn, the rock out, rock on it, do the damn, rock out, rock on it, do the damn thing, you do your thing. Y'all represent the queens and kings, you do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. And I want to say, I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. So, calling it down the middle versus calling it the right way. Like I said, it's a lot easier to call it down the middle when you are not emotionally invested, when you don't know a lot of the history, when you are only being paid to follow a certain criteria in order to make certain informed decisions or uninformed decisions. Like, listen, if you can provide this, this, and this, then you can get that. Okay, cool. Sometimes whether we call it down the middle or call it down or call it the right way can make us come under fire or under suspicion. It can basically put us on a hot seat. Well, some of us are built for that. I know I'm built for that. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. In life, we all have to make decisions, and the decisions that we make are going to determine the relationships that we have. Sue us. Sue. It's gonna be all right though. I promise you it's gonna be all right. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow. One. We will be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So make sure y'all come on through. With that being said, peace to all my day ones. Oh, I already said it. All right, we out of here. Yeah, we go. Bye. All right, Blog Talk, we gonna get you out of here. Yeah. I say what I say. All right, so let's get ready to do this. And for my YouTubers, you know just how. Before I go, I want to show y'all something. Because I've been trying to figure out this whole audio thing with YouTube, right? Well, I saw something interesting today that opened my eyes up to something. And I want to share this with y'all. Now, I got to watch how I do this because I want to make sure I don't do any copywritten material. So let me see if I can find some non-copywritten material. Because if this works, if this works, let me do it on here. Hold on, just bear with me for one quick second, y'all. All right, I'll do this. Do one of these. Now look, when I'm looking for one of these dumbass reels, I mean, yeah, I can't find it when I'm looking for them. All right. Do y'all hear this?
Why you doing all this? You know why I'm doing it. Haven't I caught you cheating multiple times?
Y'all hear that?
Did I get you cheating? Did you leave that girl? And you think I'm keep taking you back? But you got some nerve to come take my stuff out though.
All right, because on the video, On a video I saw yesterday, when he was playing it from his phone, he could hear it. Details on that later, y'all. I just wanted to make sure y'all can hear that, right? Because last night, I listened to last night's show, or was it the night before? And when I went on somebody's page, I could hear the audio and I could hear it clear. More on this later. We're going to get some things fixed. Watch. We're going to make a comeback in a minute. Watch. Holla.